A New Jersey man lost $900,000 over 2 years, sold his retirement, sold his house, sold his kids' Christmas gifts, their baptism gifts, and maxed out his credit cards, all to fund his online sports betting addiction. He had a good job. He made $175,000 a year, was married, and lost everything, became homeless, and divorced. Multiple generations of Americans are losing their wealth, going into debt, and damaging their mental health, all because of online sports betting. The Siena Institute did a survey and found that 50% of men ages 18 to 49 and 22% of all Americans currently have an active online sports betting account. I enjoy sports and I enjoy making wagers myself, but I think the ability for people to do it from their couch with their phone is a problem for our whole country. So we're going to talk about how online sports betting got so big, what its negative effects are, and some possible solutions to solving this problem. So it got real big in 2018 when the U.S. Supreme Court overturned a 1992 federal ban on professional and amateur sports betting. This was brought to the Supreme Court when the New Jersey governor at the time, Chris Christie, sued the federal government and said that it violated the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, which gives the states rights to govern themselves on certain aspects. This paved the way for companies like FanDuel and DraftKings to spread out, where before they were only operating inside of Nevada. Since 2018, 39 states and Washington, D.C. have allowed online sports betting to take place. One of the big reasons is that happened is FanDuel and DraftKings spent millions of dollars lobbying politicians to pass laws allowing the online sports betting, and they've even formed PACs or political action committees to donate directly to people's campaigns that are running if they're favorable of the online sports betting programs. And they can easily afford this because in sports betting in 2017 was only about $250 million of revenue. By 2025, the sports betting market is now about $17 billion. And they get their revenue up through users, and they get their users because they have partnerships with the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, and sports entertainment companies like ESPN and Fox Sports. So who cares? There's tons of billion-dollar companies in our country. Why pick on these guys? And it's because I see them as like I see the cigarette companies. The New Jersey guy is not a one-off. In fact, Southern Methodist University did a study of 700,000 active online sports bettors and found that less than 5% of them were actually withdrawing more money than they had put into their account, which means 95% of the other users are losing money. And more shocking, out of the 95% that are losing money, only 3% of them made up 50% of all the revenue in that group of 700,000. And some people have enough money they can afford to lose for the thrill of betting on sports. But USC and UCLA did a study of the states that have legalized online sports betting, and in those locations they found that bankruptcies were up 28% and collections on debt were up 8%. Gambling's highly addictive. Besides the financial aspect, it has a major mental health aspect. It leads to anxiety, depression, which can lead to domestic violence, and it can lead to suicide. The World Health Organization encompasses gambling as a whole, besides the domestic violence and the suicide. They also add that it leads to income generating problems like theft and fraud. It leads to neglect of children and erosion of civil institutions through corruption and corporate political activity. So how do we as a society stop this from getting out of control and becoming a major epidemic. We can educate the public, especially the youth, about how dangerous it is and how highly addictive it is, because they're the ones that are being targeted the most right now. But I think we should also kind of treat them like the cigarette companies and not allow them to advertise on TV and have these partnerships with the sports entertainment programs like ESPN and Fox Sports, or partnerships with the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball. But I think the main way to fix it is to ban online sports betting completely and make people that want to bet on sports have to go somewhere in person and use cash so that they can't get into credit card debt, and we need to help protect people from themselves. We do this with all kinds of other things. But the states can decide, the same way they decided if they wanted to allow online sports betting or not. They can decide if they want to allow in-person sports betting, and they can still be run by private companies. These companies can still make billions of dollars, but making these people that want to bet have to get up, physically drive somewhere, go into a place, only use money that they have that's earned money. They don't go into debt. I think will help really curb the amount of people that are suffering from this gambling addiction through the online sports betting markets. It won't be easy to change these current laws, though, because they're so tied to the politicians. But I think we should definitely try. So we talked about online sports betting and how it got so big and the harmful impacts it's having on our country, and a couple of ways that we can slow it down or stop it. This is a serious issue. Multiple generations of Americans are damaging their mental health and losing their wealth. And if you think this problem's just going to go away on its own and not become a national crisis, I wouldn't bet on that.